It's the Monday Night Results Show. Just the results, and nothing but the results. From this past weekend's race at your favorite racetracks, if you're looking for a lot of happy talk and fluff, tune into the Disney Channel. And now, the man with a mind for statistics. Unfortunately, those statistics are usually odds on the ponies in Vegas. Mitch, the Dr. Walker.
All right, it is the Monday Night Results Show. I'm not my normal, usual, cheerful self due to an enormous amount of heartbreaking news. But before we get into that, we can't forget the reason we're here. So here is our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have got a smoking show lined up for you tonight. I have been working on this show all week long. We're going to have Lavon Sparks from down in South Georgia. He's going to join us here in just a little bit. And a little bit later on, we're going to have Kenny Slayton come in. He's going to talk to us about some schedule changes and some upcoming events up at Boyd Speedway. And then last but not least, my boss on Saturday nights, every other week, every now and then, Chip Burke, the promoter at North Georgia Speedway. He's going to come on. We're going to talk about the upcoming events that he's got at North Georgia, and he's going to explain the Powerball Challenge. And we're also going to talk a little bit about his schedule. But coming up in the next segment, we're going to kind of shift gears, and we're going to talk about Brian Clausen, young driver that we lost last night. Also, if you would please keep Gene Dover. Anyone around this area who has messed with race cars knows Gene. Gene lost his mom Friday morning, and Gene was still at the racetrack Saturday night doing what he does each and every week. Justin Litchford also lost his grandfather Friday. So it's been a very long weekend. And a man who was one of the last Tuskegee Airmen, Mr. Julius T. Freeman, he passed away this past week. And at 89 years old, man who loved cars and airplanes and encouraged kids to stay in school and served as an example of what people can do who come from backgrounds different than yours and mine. Sold Hudsons, sold Chevrolets. And in 1977, that man set sales records and sold $1 million worth of Lincolns. All because he wanted to succeed. And he wanted to show kids that they could succeed as well. And it was a somber moment. I got to hear him speak when I was just a little kid. And it was very impressive. And when I heard that he passed away, it was a sad day. But tell you what, we're up against our first commercial break, and we're going to step out, and I'm going to gather myself up, and we're going to try to do this and do it with honor and respect. We're going to pay tribute to a young man named Brian Clausen. So sit tight. Don't go nowhere. It's the Monday Night Results Show with your host, me, Mitch Walker. They call me the Doctor, exclusively right here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right, it's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
It's the Monday Night Results Show. The name says it all. Now back to your host, the Doctor.
All right, welcome back. I just posted one of those little meme things on the show's page, and I seen it earlier today, and I just had to share it. Shows a picture of a sprint car, wheels up, and it says, "I don't want to leave yet, but if I do, God, please take me while I'm doing what I love." Amen. All right. Brian Clausen. There's so much you could say about him. 27 years old. Defending Bellevue Nationals champion. On his way to 200 starts this year. Saturday night was start 116. Well on track to make what he was going to do, to make 200 starts. Earlier today, I was reading, and I've never been a big Twitter follower. I tried it for a while, and it just, I guess I'm not a tweeter or Twitter or whatever it is you're supposed to do. But I seen something that made me stop and think. Governor Mike Pence, who's the governor of Indiana, and he's also our vice presidential candidate, tweeted this morning, "As we pause to honor the passing of a Hoosier racing champion, let us keep the Clausen family and his fiancée Lauren in our thoughts and prayers." You know, I think we found our vice president right there, Mr. Mike Pence. I've compiled some things that the press has put together. I'm going to start with a statement from the Clausen family. Last night, the 7th of August, we said goodbye to our son, fiance, and friend, Brian Clausen. He was surrounded by family and friends and we were grateful that we could experience his final moments with him. Our Brian fought to the very end with the same desire he demonstrated behind the wheel of all the various race cars that we would park in Victory Lane. This is certainly a sad day for the racing community as a whole, and on behalf of IndyCar and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we send our deepest condolences to the family of Brian Clausen, said Mark Miles, CEO of Holman and Company, parent of IndyCar and Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Anyone who witnessed Brian behind the wheel of a race car can attest to his elite ability, relentlessness, and unbridled willingness to race anything on wheels. While he'll be remembered most as a legend of short track racing, his participation in the Indianapolis 500 exemplifies his fearlessness, true versatility as a competitor, and the pure depth of his talent as a driver. Doug Bowles from Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the president, said short track racing has always been the heart and soul of auto racing in America. Brian Clausen combined his passion and enthusiasm for grassroots racing with a God-given talent that made him the favorite to win every single time he got into a midget or a sprint car. And he proved on the world's largest racing stage by leading 3 laps in the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500 that he could use that talent in just about anything with wheels. Most importantly, he possessed the humility and character out of a race car that made him a person that fellow competitors and fans alike enjoyed to be around. His spirit, his positive outlook, and his thrilling talent will be missed by the entire racing community. The thoughts and prayers of everyone at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway are with the Clausen family in this time. Brian Clausen was considered one of the nation's top short-track dirt car drivers, 4 USAC national championships, and was participating in his 116th race of the season on Saturday night. His schedule this year was on pace for 200 starts, and that included a 23rd place in the Indianapolis 500. The 27-year-old racer started 3 Indy 500s and was a developmental driver for Chip Ganassi in NASCAR, where he competed in 26 races over 2007 and 2008 seasons. Clausen was a 3-time winner and the defending champion at Belleville. He flipped off the guardrail between turns 3 and 4 while leading, and his car rolled several times and was hit by another car. It was his second wreck of the weekend. He started 7th on Friday night before he was in another very vicious wreck. After that wreck, he posted on Twitter his appreciation for his safety equipment, his chassis manufacturer, and his team for getting his car ready for him to race on Saturday night. Safety equipment is paramount in this sport. And to know that Brian Clausen recognized that, seen that, and spread the word about safety throughout motorsports and throughout racing, it was touching. Brian, I know you're gone. Your memory will live on through the videos and the stories and the articles that have been written about you and your outstanding talent. We know that your family is going through a tough time right now. Our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family and with Lauren, your fiance. We know that heaven has gained a strong racer, and we have memories to remember you by here. So Godspeed, driver. Green flags and checkers for you. We'll never forget you, Brian Clausen. You're a man among many. And all of us here at the Monday Night Results Show, Performance Motorsports Network, and the Scorpion Radio Group want your family to know that you're in our thoughts and our prayers in all that you do. Brian Clausen, sprint car driver, Indy car driver, midget car driver, stock car driver. It just sums it up. Brian Clausen, race car driver. Gone at age of 27. All right. We're coming up on our next commercial break, but real quick, I just want to throw it out there that there are lots of things going on in the world of racing. One of them, I want you to mark down on your calendars. It is for coming up. Oh, where did my notes go? It is the Southern Street Nationals. Why Not Motor Speedway? The 19th and 20th of August. So if you're down around Mississippi, tune in, slide by there, and say hi. All right, coming up next in our next segment, we're going to bring in a dirt track legend, 25 years of racing, Lavon Sparks brings to the table. And we're going to talk about some controversy that happened down around East Alabama Motor Speedway with tire testing. We're going to talk about tire testing. And we're going to talk about racers and promoters. So, you know me, we bust it out and we break it out just like everything is supposed to be. We spread the word. You know, we want people to know what is going on, and we want people to know the true lowdown. If there's underhandedness going on, we're here to set the record straight and let people know about it. If there's something that appears to be underhanded, but it's really not, we're here to let people know. That's what we do. We bring you the bottom line and the truth. Because if you want something sugar-coated, go to Krispy Kreme. Because we don't sugarcoat nothing here on the Monday Night Results Show. I call it like I see it, and I tell it like it is. If I hurt somebody's feelings, well, so be it. You know, that's the way it goes. But we're going to get Lavon Sparks in here, and we're going to talk to him a little bit. And I think you're gonna come to an understanding about a lot of things, about how things are done in the world of racing, and you're going to get an education on how tires are tested. Because we have talked with Blue Ridge Labs, and we have talked with Lavon. I have talked with lots of racers across the Southeast and 2 in California this week, researching this story and getting this segment up and running. I know Lavon sent me a message a while ago about 8 o'clock. He said, "Hey, Doc, I'm ready to go." I said, "Well, buddy, hang tight, man. We still got over an hour before the show starts." But I know Lavon is chomping at the bit to get on here and let his side of this story be told. When you have a 25-year racing career, and it has been spotless, no one has ever accused you of cheating, and everyone I've talked to, over 75 drivers that I've talked to in the past week, everyone laughed when I told them that Lavon Sparks got busted for illegal tires. They laughed and they said somebody needs to fix the way they check in their tires because something ain't right. He has been a standard for a long time, great driver, and just a hell of a guy. And we're going to be bringing him in here in just a few minutes. So sit tight, don't go nowhere. I'm telling you, we're going to get to the bottom of this. You're going to love this. So stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. It's the Monday Night Results Show with your host, me, Mitch Walker. They call me the Doctor, among other things, but that's what most of them call me. And you'll find me exclusively right here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Media sales professionals with agency experience. If you're frustrated with your current position, unrealistic quotas, and inept management, if you're a sales machine and you simply will not take no as an acceptable reply, if you're looking for a rapidly growing company with unlimited sales potential for commissions in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you're searching for a high-tech, forward-looking, laid-back, but extremely professional organization who appreciate your skills and dedication, we have your next opportunity. Scorpion Radio Group is building a sales team of self-starters who are motivated. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444 or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. That's 717-749-0444 and ask for Sue.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right, it's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
How to deal with someone who says that's so gay. Outsmart them.
This party is like so gay.
Totally.
Excuse me, but did you ladies know the word gay used to mean happy or excited? Then it became a word used to describe gay people. Then somehow it came to mean dumb or stupid, which is how you just used it, which is not very nice.
Ew, that guy is on the football team and super smart, and he totally hates us now.
Totally.
When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off. Learn more at thinkbeforeyouspeak.com.
It's the Monday Night Results Show, the internet radio show that gives you the results from your favorite racetracks. And that's it. If you're looking for a lot of happy talk and fluff, go watch NASCAR coverage on Fox TV. Now, here's the doctor.
All right, welcome back. And like the man said, if you want fluff, go watch NASCAR coverage, NAPCAR on Fox, because we done pissed them off a couple of months ago. But anyway, NASCAR, I mean, not Fox. Joining me right now, we'll jump straight into this without further ado, simply because I love saying that word. Without further ado, joining me right now, the man himself, Mr. Lavon Sparks. Lavon, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
Oh, pretty good. How you doing, Mitch?
Man, I'm finding a frog hair split 3 ways and sanded.
I got you.
Hey, it's hard to get any finer than that. Now, Lavon, I know that you know there's been tons of things that have been said, and lots of people have followed this. The other day, let me start it this way. The other day, I sent East Alabama Motor Speedway a message. I'm going to read it verbatim, the exact way I covered it, or that I wrote it. I said, I will be covering the tire testing thing from this past weekend on my show this coming Monday night. Would you like to give me a statement regarding the testing of tires? Their response, I can if you would like. Well, I mean, really? I just asked you for it. So I responded again. I said, well, from what I've seen is that tires that were purchased from the track on the day of the race failed the benchmark test. Is this correct? Here comes the response. It said, there is so much more to that than I can type, but yes and no. There were 6 competitors that had tires sent off. All 6 purchased their tires from us. 2 of the 6 purchased the day of the race the same tire type that was sent off. 1 of the 2 passed. The other 4 competitors bought their tires prior to Saturday, and 2 of those 4 passed. One of those 4 did not buy the same compound of the tire that was sent for testing. So I responded, thank you. Then I get this. This was their last response. It says, I think that not responding or ignoring your request is inappropriate, but at the same time, we aren't interested in a discussion because for us, the tire results are final and speak for themselves, and you're welcome. So, my response, and I am kind of a smart ass. I admit it, never denied it. I said, so six tires were purchased from the track. 3 of those 6 failed the benchmark test. I said, but don't worry. The discussion on this will be on my show. I have simply asked questions regarding your side of it. I do my best to present both sides of a matter and let the listeners decide for themselves what is right or wrong. But thanks for your response. I believe I have what I need. Now, that's the way that got started, and I mean, why they come at me with that? This is not up for discussion. Apparently, they don't know the doctor, because I ain't scared to discuss nothing, and I will take on anybody. I've taken on the top series in the nation and didn't back down from them. I don't back down. I just get to the bottom of it. And I went before I ever contacted you, Lavon, I talked to probably 45 drivers, because you and I have well over right at 200 mutual friends. I contacted 40 drivers just right off the rip, and I asked them, I said, what do you think of Lavon Sparks getting nailed for illegal tires failing a benchmark test? The exact same response come from every one of them. That's bull crap. Lavon don't do that. So whether you know it or not, you are very well respected among the racing community. And after I heard some of the comments that these drivers made about you, I said, well, it's time I make a phone call and I reach out to Lavon, and you were gracious enough to come on the show tonight. So, buddy, it's your turn. Rev it up and turn her loose.
All right. Well, first thing, I don't cheat. Anybody that knows me that I don't steal. Cheating is stealing to me. If you cheat somebody, you're stealing from them. You're taking their money. And most of the guys that I race with on a local deal, they're doing that so they can make it back racing again next week. And I know I do. Even when I had all the other stuff I had, it was still the money that we made supported our racing. So I would not take from nobody. Another note of that is, anybody that knows me, I'll give you my car if you needed it. I have offered that one time. It didn't work out, but whatever. Even if I don't like you, I'd rather beat you on the racetrack than see you parked in the pits and have not have the part that I needed, that they needed, and I have it. I'd rather you put it on there and I beat you on the racetrack. I'm just a fair person, always have been. With that being said, this tire thing, not blaming the racetrack, not saying that they didn't do anything wrong, on top of that, but I don't know what happened with my tire. I can tell you with 100% certainty that nothing was ever put on a tire out of my shop since I have been racing, since I have been around racing. And that would be 45, August 28th of this month. And I've been around racing as long as I can remember, from American Sports Cavalcade to, it goes back before that. I mean, putting Matchbox cars in the dirt outside. I mean, I've been around at my dad raced, my uncle raced. I'm not doing this, all this arguing and bickering with the racetrack to bash the racetrack. I'm not doing it for anything. The racetrack out here has got their own set of problems. And everybody knows it. It's well known. And that's what I was bashing on Facebook about, not about the tire thing as much as I was them not talking to me about it. They stuck their head in the sand. Billy Thomas, I don't know what to say about him. You have a problem with him, he likes to throw your name out there as a promoter. And then when you go to talk to him about it, poof, leaves. He went up there and locked himself in his mama's house. I don't know. I don't know what his problem is. William was in the pits. He drove off and left and went home when I went to talk to him about it. They left Alexis, 5 months pregnant, to talk to me about this. And I wanted to give her my side of the story, because I'm not going to roll over and take it. Simple. I give all the credit in the world to Alexis. I think the world of her. I mean, she's doing a great job. I don't know what else I can say. I feel sorry for her, but that's what I wanted to tell you about the racetrack. That's all the bashing I'm going to do. The tire sample got sent off. It came back wrong. I don't know. I have no idea what happened. I want to know what was on it. What I was saying when the thing went off was I had a radiator issue in hot laps. It got knocked out of the saddle fan tore it up, slung water everywhere. We got ready to change before qualifying, and the guy that owns the car, and he just started racing. I mean, he's a friend of mine that I wish to go to the gym with. He just wanted to buy a race car, and I just happened to be driving it that night. He said, maybe that water wetter got on the tire. I have no idea if that would make it trigger or not. I don't know. I don't really care. I went out there to them to preach my point, to figure out what was in the tire. If this could have did it, if that could have did it, I got zero response. I got Alexis to talk to me. Alexis she orders parts, she orders food and all that stuff. I mean, as far as the technical side of it, she's a woman. She's been around it, sure. She probably knows as much as they do. But why did they not talk to me? That's what I want to know. And they know me well enough to know I would never cheat. And I can go on and keep on talking about what they've done over the years and all. But why? It ain't worth it. That's just going to make me look bad. And I'm not. Yeah, I'm not even going to go there. All I know is I did absolutely 100% nothing wrong, and I'm not going to take it.
Okay, now, we said we were going to give an education on tire testing. There is a lot of people who have got all kinds of theories about how tires are tested. I spoke with Blue Ridge Labs this week, and this is what I was told. Blue Ridge Labs receives a sample in a sample container from the racetrack. It is numbered. It does not have a name on it. It is numbered. It has the number, the identification number, and it has the date code of the tire. They pull that sample, and they pull what is called a benchmark that is provided to Blue Ridge Labs by Hoosier Tires. That benchmark is supposed to match that date code. Now, if you take and say,
right quick, Mike?
Go ahead.
I want to stop you before you get too far because I'll forget.
Okay.
When you said there's a number on the thing, on the vial, right? You said a number, not a name. Okay. When Blue Ridge Labs sent it back, should there have been all of our names on the samples that come back?
According to them, they don't go by names. When I talked to her, she said that tire sample does not have a name associated with it. All it has is a number. And those numbers should be listed on a piece of paper that the track has. And the track should be able to look and say, okay, vial number XYZ belongs to Lavon Sparks. Vial number...
If you go look at my Facebook, and everybody can look at it, all 7,286 friends can look at it right now. Alexa sent it to me first. I mean, good job. No problem. All right. It's on my Facebook right now. You can go look. And it's on East Alabama's website. It has all of our names that says do not conform. All of our names. Who wrote that? It says Blue Ridge Labs at the top. And it says by Blue Ridge Labs by Lenore. I tried to email her, well, I called her too, and she didn't want to talk to me. But whatever. It's an old letterhead that was made by Blue Ridge Labs with all of our names on it. Mine, everybody's. Now, I'm not worried about everybody else. I'm worried about me. Everybody's names is on that letterhead by Blue Ridge Labs. How in the hell do they know who I am? By the way, I called them the other day and just asked them if she'd ever heard of me, Lenore. Asked her if she ever heard of my name. She said, no, sir. Are you Jimmy's? She said, well, are you Jimmy's brother? I said, I don't have a brother. My name's kind of unique, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. There ain't too many of them out there with your name.
Okay, well, there you go. You would remember that if you printed that sheet out. Who the hell printed that sheet out is what I want to know. Who did that? Well, and I said, I'm not here to bash them. I'm here to get to the damn bottom of it. Because if you're going to put my name out there and it's calling me a thief, and everybody knows I'm not, and you said it, and you can go dig and you get way more than 45. You can go 7,280. You won't get not one person calling me a thief or a cheater.
I have never, in all the people I've talked to, and I talked to a lot of people at Boyd's this past weekend, A lot of them know you, and every person I have talked to has said exactly the same thing, that you are not a cheater, and that they don't believe that there was cheating going on. Now, just as a hypothetical situation, what may have happened on the list when they called, said, okay, here's your results. They could have given the list of numbers to Blue Ridge Labs and said, okay, here's the numbers, here's the names that goes with those numbers. But as far as the testing goes, I was told by I believe her name was Kim. She said that those tire samples are known by a number. They don't look at a name when they test the tire. So how the names got on the list, I can't testify to that. I didn't ask her that. I was more concerned with the testing procedure. And
right.
But we'll jump on that real quick because we're coming up on a break. But the way the test is done, they take the two samples. They take the tire sample that the racetrack sends. They take the sample that Hoosier sends. It's supposed to have the exact same date code. They put them in one of those machines, a spectrometer. Spectrometer, yeah. Thank you. And that's a $3.75 word if I ever seen one. They put them in a spectrometer. They run a test. It tests if the two samples are the same. It don't test for chemical composition. It don't test for foreign chemicals in it. All it tests is if the two are the same. That's why it's listed on the paper as failed a benchmark, does not conform to benchmark. They don't say why it don't conform to benchmark. It just says it does not conform to the benchmark. Now, when I talked to her, she told me that when they do these tires, say they got 1350s, they got 1350 tires. That Hoosier makes 5,000 of them a year. Okay, if you take a 1350 that was made in February and you run it, take the benchmark from the date stamp from February and you run a tire that was made in May, if you have the date stamps wrong, there's a 50-50 chance that tire will fail. Right. Because the benchmark is different. Every batch of rubber they make is different when it goes into this machine. If you compare the exact same tire, they'll stick the same with a durometer, look the same, feel the same, but if the date stamps are different, the two tires, there's a 50-50 chance that those tires will fail the benchmark test. Now, when I got to looking at this, and I've seen lots of tests come back when I worked at North Georgia Speedway, I've seen thousands of people get tire samples taken. When they take the sample, they cut the tire. Now, what I want to know, and we're up against the break, so think about this, and then you can answer it when we come back. What I want to know is when they took the sample, was a representative of yours, you, car owner, or somebody from your crew, there when they put the sample in the little sample vial and wrote the number on there. That's the key thing right there that right now I have been wondering about. So hang on to that thought, Lavon. When we come back, we will jump into that, and I will let you answer that, and we'll see how that all shakes out, because somewhere, somehow, I think there was a mistake made. I'm not going to say it was an intentional mistake. It could have been intentional. It could have been just a harmless mistake that was made in numbers, transposing numbers. However the mistake was made, I believe that somewhere in the chain of command on that sample, there was a mistake made. So sit tight. We're going to step out for a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to get Lavon fired up. We're going to get him talking some more, and we're going to find out, see if we can get to the bottom of this and see just what happened with this tire sample. So don't go nowhere. It's the Monday Night Results Show with your host, me, Mitch Walker. They call me the doctor, and my special guest, Mr. Lavon Sparks, right here exclusively on the Performance Motorsports Network.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Every 30 minutes, another innocent person is killed due to a drunk driver.
My best friend.
My brother.
My poor grandchild.
My sister.
My father.
My husband.
My mom. My mommy.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you.
Stop these tragedies before they happen. Don't drink and drive.
The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Reed Sorensen. Racing has been a part of me and my family for as long as I can remember. I had to make tough choices early on to get to the top. It took hard work and dedication. But it's those tough choices that help me prepare for challenges I would face as a cup driver. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
You're listening to the Monday Night Results Show. Back-to-back results, and that's it. You want half-naked girls, singing, and sound effects? Go watch American Idol. Now, here's the doctor.
All right. Now, when we went to commercial, I had a driver send me a message and said that the driver has to sign the bottle when it's sealed with a sample at the track. Okay? Now, Lavon, what happened when your tire sample was taken?
They were taken by Chad Wallace, which is a really good friend of mine. He did everything like he was supposed to do. We used my grooving iron for every tire because it was a Van Alstyne and nobody else had one. And it got grooved, it got put in a bottle, and I signed it. I signed that, and I signed a bag, and I don't know what it was. I really wasn't concerned with it. I was more laughing about it. So as far as that goes, yeah, I guess they did everything that they were supposed to do. I mean, I'm assuming that's the way they do it. I don't know. When I had them, the stuff at the Ice Bowl last year and the other year or whatever, I don't know that I ever signed it back. Maybe I did. I don't know. I can't remember because I'm never worried about cheating because I don't do it. So I just kind of laugh that off and walk away. And maybe I will pay attention more now. I promise you that. But as far as the racetrack goes, honestly, if they were covering their ass or whatever you want to call it, trying to make sure that they did everything right. And whether they did or not, after I left it, after it left my eyes, I don't know. Nobody knows. Do I think that they did something? Honestly, no. I think that it was a benchmark problem. I think that their way they test tires at the lab is wrong. Does the racetrack out here have problems? Yes, they do, and I want to get to that later before I get off the phone with you. But the benchmark thing, to me, seems kind of stupid because it comes from two different places. The tire comes here, it gets run, rubber changes. I don't know. I'm not a chemist. I don't know. Don't want to be one. The way I would think to do it is take a batch of tires off the truck. Now, I know they're going to be different date codes. I don't understand why Hoosier does that and sends a batch of tires. Say 60 got brought to the racetrack according to Alexis last week. 60 tires. Sacrifice one. Great 21. as a racetrack. Sacrifice one. That's only to them, I don't know what they pay for them. To me, it's $155 a tire. Sacrifice one for a cutout of a tire. And then sell it off to a hobby car or something. They'll still run it. It'll be great for them. That will be your benchmark tire to send a sample off with. To me, that seems more fair. I don't know. I may be wrong, but that's just my opinion. And me and her talked about that, and she said, well, I don't know. Maybe that is. But I'm not real sure, but the way they do the testing with the benchmarks getting sent to the lab, I mean, how many samples of rubber does that lab actually have? Because you just said 5,000 crate 21s, 5,000 1350s. How many damn samples do they got there? And what kind of building is it? Because you and me both know, I tried to contact them, you tried to contact them, it doesn't seem like a big operation.
Well, I spent probably 3 hours total to get through to talk to her for maybe 12 minutes. I've emailed them quite a bit
and I've got nothing back.
You know, I mean, and you know, my thing is they're so secret about it, you know, about the way things are done, but yet when the deal went down with all the World of Outlaw guys getting busted, you know, that went through an appeals process. And when it come down, they exhausted all the appeals processes. When it come down to their final appeal, they brought in the big guy from NASCAR, Darby. He come in, and he himself said that he went and inspected the lab where the tires were tested, and he found no problems with it. But now, I ain't going to say he's not a dirt racer because I don't know John Darby personally, but to bring in somebody from another form of racing and say, well, hey, here's what we're doing, it just seems kind of hokey to me. And I agree with you on the way the tires are tested. Instead of it going by a benchmark, because a benchmark can leave a whole area open, I think they ought to go in. It don't cost any more, because I've talked to a couple of the testing labs around here in Dalton, Georgia. Now, true, they test carpet, okay, and backing, but he said it don't cost any more to do a comparison test than it does to do a chemical breakdown. He said all you do is you just run it through the machine. It will tell you exactly what's in the piece of rubber that you're testing. It'll tell you what traces there are in the rubber, what minerals, you know, if there's anything in there, it'll tell you what's in there. That would be the whole lot more logical way to do it, to test them. Instead of doing a benchmark, you just go through there, you look, it lists all the chemicals. You look over here, you pull a piece of paper out. Hoosier says this tire should have this percentage of these chemicals in it. That matches this tire. Cool. Tire's good. If it fails, it's going to tell you why it failed. It's going to tell you, well, this tire had XYZ chemical in it that caused it to not match what the standard is. So that would seem like it would be a whole lot more reliable. It would eliminate a lot of guesswork. It would eliminate so many of the rumor mills. That right there, to do an actual analysis of the tire.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, and I'll tell you something. You mentioned numbers, 5,000, this and that, whatever. I work for a living. I work 70 hours a week most of the time. And I do this in race. And I travel. And y'all see me all over the place. That means that I'm sleeping on the way or I'm really, really tired on Sunday. I got a family. I sacrificed a lot for racing my whole life. I told you that earlier. What I do at work is we do the M&M tubes. We package 3.5 million of them a week. So when you're talking about numbers, we do it by volume. Everything we do has a date code on the tube. The same date code has to match the box. The same date code has to match the case. We keep records of it. We keep library samples of it in a warehouse. And it's a huge operation. I mean, there's $4.5 million a week that leaves my hands every week. So that's a pretty big operation. I don't get the money off of it. I wish I did.
Just a cut.
Hoosier is small in comparison to that. So don't tell me that they can't do better with their benchmarks. And that's where I'm going with this. I painted that picture for you, and there you go. They can do better with their benchmarks. And the reason I'm so raising hell about this is not to exonerate my name, because I don't look like no villain. The racetrack out here looks like they screwed me. In all honesty, I really don't think that they did. Do I still want to bash Billy Thomas for not being a stand-up promoter like he went to the Hall of Fame for? You're damn right I do. I've known that man for years. My dad's known his dad. He should have enough respect for me to stand there and talk to me instead of go hide in his mama's house where he lives. I'm sick of it. And that's what I'm sick of, and that's the reason I bashed him, not because of the tire sample. The tire sample just caused all of it. But, I mean, you think about all this and look at it, and why am I so pissed off is because, why? I'm innocent. I did nothing wrong. I'm smarter than they are. That's why they don't. I don't know. I don't really know what the damn beef is here. Why won't William and Billy step up to the plate?
One thing that got me, and you told me this on the phone the other day, that you took the tire that they took the sample out of, you went back to the racetrack to offer to pay for the testing yourself, to take another cut out of that tire and send it off and have it tested.
Okay.
And they didn't want to do it.
And I'll tell you about that. And I'm going to side with them on this. And it sounds crazy. They could not prove that that was the same exact tire, even though it was worn slap out and it had the cut that Chad Wallace cut in it, and I showed him where to cut it. There was an oddball-looking cut in the middle of the tire. It had the same date code and had Chad's writing on the wheel, not the tire. I'm telling you the truth. They could not prove without a shadow of a doubt that that was the same tire. And also, they could not prove that the stuff didn't bleed out of it. Like I said, I'm not a chemist. I don't know if the stuff lasts a day, I don't last a month. I don't know if it lasts a lifetime. I don't care. I don't cheat. I don't steal from people.
I think that without knowing exactly what was in the tire that caused it to fail the benchmark, I think that right there is grounds for reevaluating the way tires are tested. Because if you don't know what it is, how can you police it?
I agree. My whole thing with everything that I'm talking about is this was over nothing money. I finished third. I was running second. A lap car got in my way or whatever, and I got passed by the Josh Taylor boy. Whatever. I don't care. Third paid $200. All right. All this is over $200. Really. I'm not arguing over the $200. I don't want the damn money. I got a job. I've never taken $1 from racing. Never. I would not. I don't want it to make my living off of racing. I just love the sport and put every bit of dime that I had, every bit of it, right back into it. And, I mean, and if they think I'm worried about the money, I'm not. Nobody that knows me knows I'm not worried about the money. It's, but my whole thing is, why the hell did they spend $500 to send off 6 tire samples over 1,000 to win race? Why? Really, that don't even make sense, does it?
Well, from a business point, no, it don't.
I mean, I agree. Hell, I'm all about policing stuff because I want everybody to be on the up and up because I'm not a cheater. But, I mean, really, from a business standpoint, why? Why the hell would you do that?
Well, it all gets back to the benchmark thing. And like I said, as long as they're not testing for compounds, what is actually in the tire, what causes it to fail the benchmark or to fail the test, until they can tell me what it is that causes it to fail, I question the lab's testing ability.
Right. Well, that's where I'm at, too. I'm with you on that. I'm 100% with you on that.
No, I mean, because that way, if the case was, if the antifreeze in the water wetter that you had in your radiator when you grenaded the radiator, if that got on the tires, if you knew exactly what it was in the tires that caused it to fail, and you look and the chemical that was in the water wetter, if that's on the list and that caused it to fail, then right then that tire was legal. It was the antifreeze in the water wetter that caused it to fail the test. So you would
so-
know. But
So
see,
what's that gonna
as long
make
as you're just going by
everybody's gonna go
benchmark,
get water
you're
wetter
pissing in the
on the tires
wind.
now?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I said, so, I mean, that's what I'm getting at. And same thing you're saying. is, So now if water wetter caused it to fail, does it make it better? Well, I hope everybody don't go buy water wetter and start smearing on the tires. Because I'm not real sure if that'll help you. I don't even know if I have no idea if that did it. That was just a plausible cause. I mean, I don't know.
Well, Lavon, it's like this. People, monkey see, monkey do. Here a while back there was a thing that Fast Orange was the secret to the thing to put on your tires to make them faster. So, people was going out and buying Fast Orange hand cleaner and rubbing on their tires. But, goat pee, how many times have we heard that one? But I just think that without them being able to provide you with a chemical analysis and telling you what is in the tire that caused it to fail, I think their testing procedure is flawed. And I think that, motorsports in general should look at a different way to test the tires. But Lavon, we're up against our last break. I got to run. But tell me, I know that you're driving somebody else's car. Who helps you with all that getting car ready every week?
The car that I'm driving now is a little 602 limited sportsman car that a friend of mine from the gym I started working out with in October. All of his friends had a race car. He wanted to buy one. His name's Dusty Blakely. I'm turning the reins over to him after this weekend. He practiced at East Alabama last weekend. William actually put the car together for him at the racetrack. So, we're way closer in talking than everybody knows. But he did really good practicing last week, and I'm going to kind of coach him to it. And I got some different sponsor stuff going on, I hope, so I can get me a motor back together for one of my 3 cars and hopefully get my stuff back going. And I'm going to start hitting Sonoma and North Georgia boys. I'm going to come see y'all, and like I always did. And that's pretty much where I'm going with that. My biggest sponsor I've had for years, and I have to throw him a bone, is Modern Images, Chris Medley. He's one of my really close friends. I've had him for years, so he needs to get that little sponsorship plug in there. But he does wraps on the cars and stuff. But other than that, I have no help. It's just me, Bobby Thomas Jr. He helps me a bunch. He's my next door neighbor. That's about it.
I go by the gym every morning, LeBron. One of these days I'm going to stop and go in, but I go by that thing every morning.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something. I lost 30-something pounds and did a lot of cardio and stuff. I'm about to be 45 years old. I'm in the best shape of my life right now. And it does help in the race car, I'm telling you right now. So it makes a big difference.
Come on up to Boyd's, because they got the simulator up there. And I threw down the challenge to everybody last week. I got in the simulator. I took 15 laps, and I set a time. And there was I think there was 4 drivers beat my time out of probably 85 or 90 that come up there and tried it. So come on up. Me and you'll jump in the simulator, and we'll go a few laps.
All right, I put $500 on it right now. And mark my word, it's on your show. $500. I do 15 laps in your simulator. I get out of the car. You do 15 laps in my race car. We'll take the average time. Whoever wins takes $500.
Now that's a deal right there. Now,
and now you get to drive a real race car.
Well, now, I've spent my time in them. Most of the ones I spent my time in didn't have fenders or doors on them. I come from Oakland, so.
Yeah, that's another thing. I meant to say that right off the bat, and I really hate I didn't. That Brian Clausen, everybody needs to take their hat off and put it down for him.
That's right.
He's a racer. He was the hardest racer that you could ever find, and dedicated his life to it, just like I have, just like everybody else that's listening to this has. And all jokes aside, it's a bad day for racing that one of our friends, even though I didn't know him personally, died in a race car, because we all know it can happen. But none of us believe that it will happen. You seen what I shared on Facebook, and that, man, that's just, it's unreal. I mean, we all put it off to the side because you know it's going to not happen to you.
Yep.
But it can, and I know it, and it does happen.
That's right. Well, LeBron, Levon, we're going to jump out of here, buddy. I want to thank you for joining me, and you get your program together and you get back racing. Let me know, and we'll get you back on here and come on up here to North Georgia and Boyd's. I'm working at both of them, so we'll have a big old time.
Oh yeah, I'll be seeing you soon.
All right, Lavon Sparks, everyone. He will be coming to a racetrack near you real soon. All right, we're going to jump out of here, take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll bring Mr. Kenny Slayton from Boyd Speedway in here, and me and him will talk about the simulator. So don't go nowhere. It's the Monday Night Results Show with your host, me, Mitch Walker. They call me the Doctor, exclusively right here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What? No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm going to do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up. See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's the Monday Night Results Show, the internet radio show that gives you the results from your favorite racetracks. And that's it! If you're looking for a lot of happy talk and fluff, go watch NASCAR coverage on ESPN. Now, here's the Doctor.
All right, welcome back. Now, we're working on getting Kenny Slayton on. Kenny's a busy man. He always got his finger in some stuff. So we will jump in here and we will bring up Boyd's results from this past weekend. That was one of the few racetracks around here that was running. If you did not see the races at Boyd's this past Saturday night, man, you don't know what you missed, because I actually had to do comedy for a while. we got the little mini shower about 10:30. Boyd's has a 11:30 curfew, so we worked really hard to get the track back, got it done, and run the last lap of the feature at 11:26. So we got it in, and here is the results from Boyd Speedway this past Saturday night in the crate division. Taking the win, it was Ethan Hunter. Second place went to John Owenby. Brian Pritchard in the Big Red Machine was third. Fourth was Jamie Perry. Chip Brindle was fifth. Sixth was Jason Deal. Mike Tinker was seventh. Larry Higgins was eighth. Ninth was Mitchell Stanley. 10th was Mark Heatherly. Clint Nichols was 11th. Justin Owens, who done a spectacular job when we call for cars to come back out on the track and help pack it in. Justin Smokey Owens was one of the first cars to roll out there to help us roll the track back in. 13th was Anthony Reimer. Philip Deal was 14th. 15th was Jake Rainey. Bobby Ritchie was 16th. And Bobby Doss rounded out the 17-car field. All right, in the A hobbies, it was Josh Began taking the win over Greg Tinker. Mitch Brady with a strong run in third place. John Clark was fourth. Chad Anderson was fifth. Jim Clark was sixth. Junior Pierce was seventh. Russell Shell was eighth. These numbers are off a little, and I got my backup glasses on. Russell Shell was eighth. Derek Franks was ninth. In the B hobby division, great racing. It was just unreal. B hobby, Booger Brooks takes the win. Michael Brooks was second. Tommy Gilbert was third. Brandon Francis was fourth. John Hutcherson was fifth. Adrian Williams was sixth. Jim Gilbert was seventh. LeBron Miller was eighth. And Sam Jones was ninth. Now, one thing about this one, when they started, it was Michael Brooks and Booger Brooks on the front row. Thomas Gilbert and Jim Gilbert was on the second row. So it was real easy to call. It was Brooks and Brooks coming off the turn with Gilbert and Gilbert behind him. Yeah, just one of those announcer jokes, I guess. But great racing from the B Hobby guys. All right, in the Sportsman division, another great race. It was Booger Brooks taking a win over Josh Began. Bobby Doss was third. Fourth was Colton Jackson. Fifth was Josh Walker. Brent Clark was sixth. Seventh was Jacob Stewart. Eighth was Mike Franks. Ninth was Donnie Van Winkle. Grady Stokes was 10th. Pat Castleberry was 11th. Evan Wrinkle was 12th. They call him the legend. Natasha Stokes was 13th. 14th was Chris Ho. Davey Davis was 15th. 16th was Timmy Thornton. 17th was Casey Heatherly. Matt Williams was 18th. 19th was Corey Lawless. And Steve Vann rounded out the 20-car field. Another big group in the Sportsman division. In the late models, one of the races that we liked to never got in, but when they dropped the checkered on this one, we had 4 minutes to spare. It was the Axeman, Kevin Gibson, taking the win over last week's winner, Andy Miller. Todd Hernandez was a strong third place. Robbie Mason was fourth. Brian Jackson was fifth. Jordan Rodabaugh was sixth. David Duplessis was seventh. Zach Pilcher come up from Dixie Speedway. He was eighth. Mike Tinker was ninth. Lamar Scoggins was 10th. Craig Burrows was 11th. Casey Truman was 12th. Blake Armitage was 13th. 14th was Jimmy Brown. Davey Davis was 15th. Drew Benfield was 16th. And 17th was Johnny Kluwer. And that's how they wrapped him up at Boyd Speedway this past Saturday night. And a great night of racing. I jumped in on the simulator, and we had a standing deal going. Whoever beat me would go into a drawing for a free pair of tickets for our next race. Well, with the rain coming, we really, really rushed through the program. We did not get a chance to draw for the winner. So I'm gonna get with Kenny. We're gonna see what we can do about redoing this. Those four names, we have the names wrote down of the ones who actually beat my time. Nobody beat me by a bunch, okay? I had a 12.110 lap. David Duplessis come up. The best he could do was a 12.115. So, but I still beat him. And yes, I gave him crap about the announcer beating him. And it was a lot of fun. We had fun with it, but there's going to be some new things happening at Boyd Speedway coming up real soon, so keep that in mind. I know we had Lavon Sparks on here, and he wanted to get back on. We might see, since we can't get a hold of Kenny, we may see if we can get Lavon back. And he said he forgot something. So I know Kenny Slayton's a busy man, and he has got some things that he wanted to get in there. I know they have dropped the schedule they had scheduled to run Labor Day. They have backed that up. The schedule is going to be, let me pull it up right here real quick. Boyd's is going to be running the 20th, August the 20th. They have dropped the September 3rd show. They have added a September the 17th show, and they've added an October the 9th show. So they've added 3 dates and dropped the Labor Day show to avoid conflict with another track. Don't want to schedule on top of each other. And since they're kind of throwing dates together as quick as they can just to get somebody, give people a place to race, we are going to see if we can't get some more dates added to that. And since we still can't get a hold of Kenny Slayton, let's see if we can get Lavon back on, because we got a few minutes that we can let Lavon get his what he forgot. So if our producers can get Lavon back on, we'll see what we can do about that. But Boyd Speedway's got some good stuff coming. North Georgia's got some great racing coming up as well. We'll be talking with Chip Burke here in just a few minutes. We'll be getting him on talking about some of that. But Booger Brooks was on a roll this past weekend, won in B-Hobby and won in the Sportsman race, and drove the stinking wheels off of both of them. And we need to get Booger Brooks on the show real quick. I was down there talking to him, and they kind of got on Evan Wrinkle and teasing him about calling him the legend. And kind of as a dare, they said I wouldn't do it, but I went ahead and announced him as Evan the Legend Wrinkle. And it was kind of funny. It worked out pretty good. But we have a good time up there, just bringing everybody a lot of entertainment. Seen a skint rabbit. If you were in the grandstands at Boyd Saturday night, you would understand that. But, hey, lots of things coming in the Southeast. There is a new series coming that we will be talking about here in just a little bit, a Sportsman series, and it's by Neesmith. And everyone knows how anti-Neesmith I am, but we will talk about that. I've got some notes on that for a little bit later on in the show as well. There are a ton of racers in the Southeast that are just looking for a place to race, and that's one of the things that we're trying to address and get all these guys a place to race. That's the reason Boyd's is adding more dates. They had a limited schedule at the start of the year, and they've added to their schedule. North Georgia stayed true to theirs. They're running that limited schedule, and we'll be talking with Chip on that here in just a little bit. But I think that people need to understand how tough it is on promoters and how rough it is to get a race in each and every week and to fight Mother Nature and to fight all the battles that promoters have to fight. And, you know, we've talked about social media in the past and how that can, you know, bashing racetracks will take and kill the sport. Well, it will in a way, but there's ways to get constructive criticism to the promoters without using social media. You don't hang your dirty laundry out. And that's one of the things that social media has done. It has given promoters a way to get their side of the story out, to tell what's going on, and to bring these fans together and get the fans more involved, give the fans a voice. And I think that's one of the things that we try to do here on the Monday Night Results Show. And there's going to be some changes coming in the Monday Night Results Show in the coming months. And that's one of the things that we're going to focus on. And, you know, we're trying to give you what you want to hear. And a lot of you are wanting to hear more in-depth interviews, stories about what is going on with different racetracks and different series, and we're going to cover some of that. We got a lot of things in the works that are I won't say they're in the can, but they're in the works, and we look forward to bringing them to you in the coming months. I know one thing I do want to, I had talked with Kenny about, Kenny Slayton up at Boyd's. Some of the changes that they've made, they have brought in a new announcer. Yeah, me. Wesley Womack, who has been a guest on my show before. He is the flagman at North Georgia, and he's also now the flagman at Boyd's. Now, why Wesley decided to leave the comforts of the announcer's booth and get up on the flag stand, I don't know, but it seems that it has worked out pretty good. Everybody's happy. Boyd's has started posting their payouts. There's not many racetracks around that post payouts. I know Chip Burke has posted his. The payout for the Red Clay Nationals is up. Kenny Slayton has started posting the payouts for Boyd's, letting everyone know, hey, if you want to race for money, come on up to Boyd's because we're paying it. And when you look at some of the other racetracks down south of here and some of them up north of here, yeah, they say they pay $600 to win, but what they don't tell you is second place only pays $200, and then it goes down from there. Whereas a lot of, promoters have a battle that they have to fight. And standard has always been 51%, I think is what it is for second place. If you pay $3,000 to win, then second place pays like $1,600 or $1,700, something like that. And then it drops incrementally down from there. But when you get places like some of these promoters down south, I ain't going to mention no names, but some of the tracks down there, they run a front-wheel drive class or a pony class, I believe it is, and they advertise $10,000 to win. And, yeah, they do pay the winner $10,000. What they don't tell you is that second place only makes $1,200. Now, look at that drop from $10,000 to $1,200. That's really cranking on it. So you got to look at where you're going to be going to race. Are you a front runner car every single week? Well, then look at the top half of the payout. If you know and you're honest with yourself and you say, well, I'm a 6th or 7th place car most nights, then you look at the track that's going to pay the most for 6th or 7th place. That's the way you figure out where you're going to go race. Now, if money don't matter to you, then you just go race wherever the hell you want to, and have a good time doing it. But I think racetracks posting their payout it's transparent. It's letting everybody know, here's what you're racing for at this particular track. You don't go down there and run, say, 3rd or 4th and think, well, up at Boyd's, I get $300 for this or $200 for it, whatever it is. And you get there and they hand you an envelope with $80 in it or $60 in it. That's what kills a lot of tracks' attendance and car count is the payout. Racers aren't trying to get rich. They're not trying to make a living doing this. They just want to at least pay for their fuel to get to the track, pay for a hot dog or two for their crew, and, put some fuel in the race car. If they break apart, maybe they got a little bit of extra money they can replace it with. But racers are not in this to get rich. Racers are just out there, unless you're Booger Brooks, and you win every time you sit down in a race car. But seriously, these guys just want a fair payout. And when you got racetracks that post the payout, going to the track what you're going to get. And a lot of tracks won't do that. So my hat's off to the crew up there at Boyd Speedway and the crew over at North Georgia about posting their payouts. The payout for the Red Clay Nationals is up on North Georgia Speedway's Facebook page. Payout in every division is posted. So keep that in mind. All right, we're getting ready to take a step out of here for a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to get the man Chip Burke on here and see if we can't get him and pin him down and get him to give us the lowdown on what is going on with the Powerball Challenge and get him to talk about the Red Clay Nationals coming up September 8th, 9th, and 10th over at North Georgia. So don't go nowhere. It's the Monday Night Results Show with your host, me, Mitch Walker. They call me the doctor, exclusively right here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. But every driver seeks the pinnacle of their achievements. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, your authority on motorsports of all types. Be listening for the most accurate and up-to-the-minute coverage of every motorsports activity that you enjoy on a daily basis. Be it NASCAR, be it IRL, be it Formula One, be it drag racing, be it dirt track, off-road, props, hulls, whatever. We are your source for motorsports. Performance Motorsports Network.
You're listening to the Monday Night Results Show on the Performance Motorsports Network. Racing information at its best. And now back to the Doctor of Statistics.
All right, welcome back. And, you know, modern technology is a wonderful thing, except when you get voicemail. And two of my guests tonight are either busy, falling asleep, or they're feeding their face. Chip Burke is not able to make it with us, but I do have some details on him. We will cover those in a minute. But my first guest tonight, Mr. Lavon Sparks, forgot something. So we're going to bring Lavon back and let him tell us about what he forgot. Lavon, what you got, buddy?
I contacted Scott Bloomquist. I told you that.
Yep.
I was trying to get him to be on the show with me because of his lab results and Jimmy's and all the other 5 that got thrown out, and they're protested or done for 3 months. Well, I was kind of like, well, they should do that. They should throw them out. But now I'm looking at me. I know I didn't do nothing, so maybe they're innocent too. So I was trying to get him on the show. Katrina messaged me back while I was on the phone with you. Scott's working. You know he's busy, and I know he is. And but I just wanted everybody to know that he was ready to voice his opinion too. Now maybe I can get with you and get him on next week, and I'm going to work on that for you. That was the one thing I wanted to say. But the next thing I wanted to say was back to the racetrack out here. Billy Thomas. They got a $250 fine for me to pay to be able to race again out here in whatever class I race at. That's fine. I understand that because I got caught wrong, whether the tire samples was right, wrong, whatever the hell happened with that. But all of what I've did for that racetrack over the years, for Big Bobby Thomas, I've went up there and helped him, and he's going to do one of my motors coming up soon. I still love him to death. He's a great guy. He works out there. All the stuff I did, I brought candy out there for them people to give away to the kids, and then come to find out Billy was selling it up top, making pure profit. And I could have gotten in trouble or fired for my work over that. And for him to walk away and just put his head in the sand and not talk to me, and all I've done for him. So what it looks like to me is East Alabama, Billy Thomas, William, and I'm calling y'all out, all on the tape. And if you got a problem with me, call me. It's 706-593-5008. They know my number. Why hide from me? I'm right here. Easy to get in touch with. Everybody knows me. Everybody likes me. I am right here. Why in the world do you want to hide from me?
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I got $10 I'll put in to pay towards your $250 fine. I'll put $10 in that.
Yeah, well, I told the guy that owns the car, and I told everybody knows that the devil will be riding a snowboard down the icy mountain before they get a half a cent from me for that $250 to go out there and race and make them money. Because I know in one weekend, I know for a fact in one weekend they make more than $250 off of me and my ass being there.
Well, you know, the thing about it is, Lavon, and you are so right, because without these drivers, you're not going to draw some of the fans. You know, I mean, if these racetracks posted a list of nobody drivers, people that nobody had ever heard of, nobody's going to you're going to have 10 people in the grandstands. And those 10 people are going to be there if they was racing farm tractors. But when you start bringing names in, you know, these drivers have followings. They may not be a super late model driver. They may not run the World of Outlaws, but these drivers have fans that follow them. Pony drivers bring some of the biggest crowds you've ever seen in your life. You don't believe it? Show up when they go to take victory lane pictures.
Let me tell you something. The pony cars, the hobby cars, all of them, they make just as much money for the racetrack as all the rest of us do. And they help take the racetrack in. They're just as important as anybody. All the racetrack promoters will tell you that. I understand that. 100%.
You know, Lavon, one of the things that when I first started doing this show, one of the things I done was I had a guy who was instrumental in me announcing, and his name was Jimmy Mostedler with the Have a Tampa series. I watched that man.
I know him well.
People. I watched what he'd done for the sport, and I had a lot of respect and a lot of admiration for him. Well, about 4 days before he passed away, he done an interview, and it was on YouTube for a long time. I looked for it the other night, and I couldn't find it. But he done an interview, and he said something in that interview that I will never, ever forget. He said, you know, he said, the man that finishes dead last in the lowest support class that you have at a racetrack paid the exact same amount of money to get in as the man who wins the super late model event did.
And he's exactly right.
He deserves the same respect and the same attention, and he deserves it just as much as the big guys do. And that has always stuck with me. And that's why I have always focused on getting the little guys on my show and bringing the little guys the attention that they don't get anywhere else.
Oh, yeah. You know, that's the reason I called you back, because I just wanted everybody to know that's the reason I'm not racing the East Alabama. It's over $250. I can name right offhand, I bring 15 to 20, if not more than that, people to the racetrack every week at $25 plus. So you're an idiot. You're a bad business person if you don't realize that. And I mean, I understand the fine because it's a deterrent from somebody doing it again. But in this situation, I ain't did shit. I ain't did nothing, period, at all. And on top of that, all the stuff I've done the last 2 years, and I told them that, oh, hell, you give me my $2,500 that I've given to you, minus the $250, and then we'll be even. But I don't want that. Yeah, I don't care. All I'm about is racing. I love racing. I want to do it again. I want to do it tomorrow. I do it every day. And everybody that knows me knows if you walk into my house, and my house is like an open book to everybody, we grill out and swim in the pool every Sunday, every Saturday when I'm not racing. My TV is always on something racing. Boats, cars, motorcycles, whatever. So I just love racing. So, I mean, the reason I called you back and got you back on here wasn't to bash nobody. It's just to let everybody know this is what you're dealing with. Billy Thomas, call me. Please call me. $250. You can pay me now or pay me later. I don't care.
You know, the thing is, Lavon, it's not bashing. It's making people aware. Because I know that there are tons of people out there who don't know the details, who don't know what really goes on behind the scenes. And if they did, and they knew some of the things that was going on, they wouldn't be showing up there each and every week. And the fans deserve to know.
Let me tell you something, Mitch. I've been saying this for years and years and years and years and years. I cannot believe that they get away with what they get away with. Years and years. And they continue to keep getting away with it. I don't care if they don't never allow me to come back out there again. I really, honestly don't care. I mean, I can go somewhere else. I can come up there and hang out with y'all guys. I have way more fun when I travel.
For you to hang out.
Oh, yeah. I have way more fun when I travel. But it's just taking time away from my family. So the reason I stayed here was because of my family. My daughter, she's 13. She cheers, competition cheers and all that. So that's the reason I missed the Ice Bowl and all this. But man, she loves racing now. If you see me at the racetrack, she's gonna be right beside me. I mean, she's like Jordan Blount. I mean, with Michael Blount, she's my number one person. I mean, I can trust her more than I do pretty much anybody. I mean, she's learning. She's trying to do everything she can. So it's all family stuff is the reason I'm not traveling. But, hey, shoot, we have more time in the truck to talk. That's all I can say.
That's right. You know, Lavon, I've had a lot of youngsters on my show, and all of them, their parents help them with their race cars. And one of the things that has really got me wound up is these parents spend lots of time getting their kids to in there. They get their kids involved in racing. They spend time with their kids, and it develops that bond that they can share. They spend time, and I think it's valuable, and I think it's something that a lot of families really capitalize on. But you know, it is what it is. But I think that you know, families that race together stay together. But hey, man, right. we're gonna run. I've got we're going to jump into some Neesmith stuff, and I'm kind of going to jump sideways in Neesmith, but it is what it is, you know. I mean, got to do what you got to do.
I got you. Don't get me started on the 525 stuff. I've got 2 motors in 2 years that blowed up, so don't get me started on that. Maybe that's another show.
Well, I tell you what, tune in this next segment. If you feel that way, I'm real sure you're going to be jumping up and down, clapping when you hear my next segment, because I know they're not going to be real happy about it. But it has to do with their new series that they're coming up with. So sit tight. All right, man. We're going to step out. We're going to get ready to let LeBron go. Have a good one, man. Be looking for you when you come up this way. Okay.
All right, buddy. See you.
All right, take care. LeVon Sparks, everybody. Man, I tell you, really and truly, if he wanted to go back to East Alabama, I'd put $10 in the bucket. And I've got 4 people right here who said they would put $10 in the bucket too. But we'll let that go. Now, here's the deal. I'll run this down to you. Chip was supposed to be here. He's not here. So I'm going to explain this. The Powerball Challenge, okay? Here's how it's going to work. Everybody qualifies, okay? you're going to be qualified in your position, 1 through 10 or 1 through 25, whatever the case may be. 2 people from each division, 2 fans, we're going to get them to pick 2 numbers out of a bucket of ping pong balls. Each ball is going to have a number on it. The 2 numbers that they pull out, whoever qualified in those positions will start on the front row. That will be your front row. So a fan is going to pick one ball out. They will pick the pole position. Whichever position you're qualified in, when they pull that ball out, if it's number 12, then the 12th qualifier moves to the front row. Everybody else moves back one. The second person is going to pull a ball out. If they pull out ball number 3, whoever qualified third will go to the front row to sit beside the pole sitter. That's the way the Powerball Challenge is going to work. So now everybody knows and understands. And it's going to be interesting because this is going to happen in every single class. So I'm going to walk through the stands, and I'm going to pick 2 fans at random, and they are each going to pull a ball, and that will tell us who is going to start on the front row for the Powerball Challenge. And that is coming up the 27th of August. That's not this coming weekend, but the following weekend, I think. I don't have my calendar in front of me. The 27th is when it is. The 26th, there will be an open practice that night. So keep that in mind. All right. We have got the Neesmith Crate Sportsman Series that is in the news. I mentioned it last night on Facebook, and it blew up. It has been blowing up all day long. Everyone talking about it. Here's a couple of things I want you to think about, and we will jump into this when we come back after our commercial break. We're going to jump into this wide open with both feet, and then right before we wrap up the show, we're going to get a last-minute update from the man himself, Mr. Bob Steele, on the update on what is going on with his car and how close he's getting to getting ready to make the Labor Day doubles at Summit Point. 3 things I want you to think about. Neesmith Racing. They sell crate motors. They have traveling series. They have gone around and got a lot of tracks involved. What has Neesmith ever done for local racers? Okay? Think about that. What has Neesmith ever done for any local tracks? Okay? Think about that. And what happens when Neesmith changes the rules? All these tracks that follow Neesmith, and they use the Neesmith rules, what happens when they change the rules? Now think about that. And also think about the only thing Neesmith lets you run is GM products, because Neesmith Racing is sponsored by Neesmith Chevrolet. They're scared of the Fords. They're scared of the Dodges. I mean, that's the way it works. Seems to me, if you won't let somebody come play, you're scared of them. And until they prove me different, that's what I'm going to keep saying. All right, we're up on the commercial break. We're going to step out. When we come back, I'm going to put my galoshes on, and I'm going to pull my soapbox out, and I'm getting up on top of this new Sportsman Series, the Crate Sportsman Series. So don't go nowhere. Sit tight. It ain't over until the fat lady sings, and she ain't singing yet. So it's the Monday Night Results Show with your host, me, Mitch Walker. They call me the Doctor, exclusively right here on the Performance Motorsports Network.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ball in street? Girl in street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more, but the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives and so should you.
Motorsports Sales Professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
They say numbers don't lie, but we found that with a little tequila and some weed, the timing and scoring people will. Wading through the fog, it's the doctor.
All right, welcome back. Now, as I was saying, here we go. Soapbox is pulled out, and I am revved up and ready to go. Neesmith. Everyone knows Neesmith Crates pretty much kind of started it. Neesmith started selling the crates through their Crate Racing USA banner, whatever you want to call it. It's all still the same thing. It's all Neesmith. They pushed these crate motors left and right, the 602, the 604, and now they've got the CTS 525. They're pushing these left and right, wanting everybody to buy them. Well, what they're doing by doing this is they're slowly trying to weasel their way into racetracks so that the only people who can race are people who buy their motors from Neesmith. Okay? Well, by doing this, they are cutting out a large portion of their fan base. Walk through the grandstands. You're going to see a lot of Ford shirts. You're going to see some Dodge shirts. Not everybody is a GM fan. Some of the best racing I have ever seen in my life has been Ford versus Chevy. And I don't care who wins. Really and truly, I'm a Ford man. Yes, I am. That's one of the reasons I have jumped up on this bandwagon. And I preach so much about the way Neesmith does things. Now, they have published that this new Sportsman crate class they're going to be bringing out next year will be a 602 crate class. Now, they're saying in order to allow drivers to run the motors that they have now, they're going to let them run a built motor, meaning not a crate motor, They're going to let them run them, but they're going to have to run a 2-barrel carburetor. So right off the rip, they're putting them at a disadvantage. Okay? I don't care about crate motors. If you want to run crate class, if you want to run spec, run crates. If you got a built motor, you run Sportsman. Sportsman is not set up for crates. Now, 4 years ago at North Georgia Speedway, me and Jason Jones were sitting at Los Reyes, I believe it was, with my dear buddy Craig Reese. And we were sitting there eating lunch, and I said, man, we were talking about different ways to get the fans back, get more car count. I said, man, what you need to do is bring back Sportsmans. He said, well, what do you mean Sportsmans? I said, look, you take a full jig chassis, limit their shocks, put them on hard tires, and you run a hobby motor. Take North Georgia Speedway's a hobby motor rule, put that in place, let that be your Sportsman rule. Keep the cost down. Make Sportsman what crate was originally designed for. Okay? You let crates run crates. You let Sportsmans run Sportsmans. Let Sportsman be a stepping stone to higher level classes. Say to Steelhead or even to crate. If you've got a guy who's been running a 3-link or a leaf spring car in hobby, a 4-link car is a whole nother animal. So you want to give them something that they can develop in, something they can grow in. By putting this clause in there that you got to run a 602, all that does is it sells motors for Neesmith. It does nothing for racing. It takes away the creativity. It takes away the innovation that dirt track racing has provided for so many years. It turns racing into box cars. You go get your motor in a box and you put it in your race car that you bought somewhere else and you go racing. That defeats the purpose of what Sportsman is supposed to be. Sportsman is supposed to be put your own package together, go out there and go racing. If you want to run a Ford, run a Ford. If you want to run a Dodge, run a Dodge. If you want to run a Toyota, build you a Toyota motor. It don't matter. But put a package together that you put together and go out there and race. Bring some innovation. Bring some creativity back to the sport. Young man told me last night that, face it, crates are the wave of the future. Well, if crates are the wave of the future, then dirt track racing as we know it is doomed. I have nothing against crate cars. My best friend ran crates for years. Dominated crates wherever he went. Done it with a Chevy and done it with a Ford. Okay? My thing is, any series that is sponsored, whether it's sponsored by a Ford dealership, a Dodge dealership, or a Hudson dealership, I don't give a damn what it's sponsored by. If you want the best that you can get, you have to open it up and allow all makes to participate. Not just one make. You look at Cochran Speedway 3 years ago. They put together a big Ford versus Chevy crate showdown down there. Craig Reese towed his big Ford-powered crate car down there. Went down there second quick to a Chevrolet. They dropped the green flag. They raced side by side. There was 4 Fords and 20 Chevrolets. 4 Fords, okay? Craig got took out early in the race, wound up going to the pits after contact with another car. The Fords ran side by side with the Chevrolets. The Fords are not any more horsepower. They both build the same horsepower. Mike Delahanty from Ford Sportsman's program, who builds the Ford crate motors, He came on my show 2 years ago and talked about it. He said, look, we did not build this motor to blow the Chevrolets out of the water. We built it to compete with them under their own rules package. And that's what we've done. They created an equal motor to the Chevrolets. So there is nothing that Chevrolet can do but open it up. But no, they don't want to do that because they're not selling no Ford motors. They're not selling, excuse me, they're not selling Dodge motors. All they're selling is GM motors. So that's all they're worried about. They're not worried about the sport of racing. They're not worried about the local racers. They're not worried about the local tracks. What they're worried about is profits. Profits from the sales of their motors. That's all they're worried about. They don't give a damn about the little guy. That's what ticks me off. That's what burns my butt, is the fact that they don't care. All they want to do is sell more motors. They're not doing this to further the sport. They're not doing this to promote local racetracks. No. If you want Neesmith in there, you got to pay Neesmith to get them to come in there. Then you got to adapt their rules, and it's a bunch of crap. They've got street stocks. They've got the crates. Let them have those. That's what they want. Let them run them. But stay the hell out of Sportsman. You don't need Neesmith running Sportsman rules in this area. North Georgia and Boyd's have a full field of Sportsmans every single week. Every single week, there's 20, 25 Sportsmans at both tracks. And they come to race. Yeah, there's a few of them that have switched to crate motors and they're running them in Sportsman. But they get a weight break because it's a little motor against the big motors. Okay? I say do away with all crate motors in Sportsman. All of them. You want to race crate? Go run crate. Or you want to run a crate motor? Go race crate class. Okay? If you want to run Sportsman, put you a motor package together and bring it out there. No weight breaks, no nothing. You just load your junk up and go racing. But that's my rant on the crate series. Now, let's find out from the man himself, Mr. Bob Steele. Bob, what's the status on the Honda?
Well, Doc, it's interesting that you asked because we had a pretty intensive work party this past weekend at the super secret racing facility just below the communications base for the underground Pentagon. So it's very secret, sir.
Hey, I like the super secret part. You got to keep those top secrets secret.
We got, let's see, we had Larry Bell, my crew chief, and Darren, who is our chief fab guy and works in the chassis. And so we fabricated a cow catcher, so to speak. Wanted to put a big bar across the front of it, so if I do a off-road, it doesn't tear the air dam up and the SIR up and the radiator and the oil cooler. So that was a big concern. We got that fabbed up. We've got brake lines run. All we got to do is run the flex lines and the AN flex lines, and we'll have that set up. We did find an interesting thing out, and you racers will be interested to know. Willwood master cylinders are not tapped at 1/8" pipe for the brake line. They're tapped at 3/8 24. So if you try and run an 1/8" pipe down them, you got a problem. So you got to retap with 1/8" if you're going to use it. And those 3/8 24 fittings that come out that you'd need, that they're almost made of impossibilium. So I spent a long time on the phone earlier, middle of the week last week, with a couple of supply houses, and to get exactly what you need, because it's got an inverted female flare, which to me would be a male, but that's what they call it, down at the bottom. So
they're a bunch of chauvinists, Bob.
Yeah, well, that's the way it works, my friend. But yeah, it's so if you're dealing with Willwood master cylinders, if you've dealt with them before, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, be aware that it is not an 1/8" pipe fitting. Ours are now, but They come factory with a 3/8 24.
So you're getting pretty close then.
Well, close is a relative thing. Close
that's
is
why
not
I used
including the week-long thrash just before the race, and then at the mid-night oil to align the front and rear end and that sort of thing. But we're certainly a whole lot closer than we were, and a lot closer than we thought we were going to be. So right now we're going to be dependent.
Now let me ask you this: you mentioned the alignment. Do you guys do like a 4-wheel computer alignment, like your street cars do? Do you use the same type setup, or do you string and can it?
We string it as well, but the bottom line is with a Honda like this, where it's infinitely adjustable caster, camber, toe in, toe out on both the front of the car and the rear of the car, it's hard to argue with a laser beam.
That's what I was just kind of curious about that. I mean, because I can't count the times that I have done alignments with 2 coffee cans and some string and a tape measure.
Oh yeah.
And I was just wondering if you roundy round guys, if y'all broke down and used the laser that now is so popular.
Well, I tell you what, I do have an old school tire guy, and he says, we're going to get the string out, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and I reminded him, I said, Tony, the last time we got the string out, it took us 3.5 hours, and we never did get it set up right. And he goes, you're right. I said, so we go down, and I sit in the car and get the computer guy and the laser guy to put it all together, and it's exactly where we want it within a tenth of a degree. And I said, it's probably easier to do and easier to repeat. And he goes, you're right. So,
yeah. Repeatability is a big thing.
What's that?
I said repeatability is a big thing.
Well, it is, particularly with asphalt.
Yep.
And that's that's what we run. And it looks like we may actually, if we get this car put together, we may get to go up and see how that new pavement at Watkins Glen looks.
Well, I know it gives some of these guys fits this past weekend.
What was that?
Watkins Glen.
Oh, yeah. It does. Well, I don't understand why the NASCAR boys have such a hard time with that track. It's really a very interesting and not a difficult track to master. But you can't win it on the first turn. And that seems to
we have the same problem when we just go in circles.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, my friend. You got to get through turn 1 before you can get to the start-finish line, right?
That's right. That's right. All right, well, buddy, it's about time. We're getting ready to wrap this jewel up. Man, best of luck, and hope you guys get her all wound up, and we'll have to get one of the doctor stickers sent up there so you can get it on the car.
I will absolutely do that, Doc. And if you want to check out my Facebook page, it's Bob Steele. And I've got a couple of them, but the one you want to look at is the one with me in the yellow Big Bird driving suit. And there's probably 3 or 4 galleries of build pictures on this car, so you can see exactly how we did it and what we cut up, what we welded up, and what we've been working on.
Well, hey, I look forward to it. The power of the stash is strong with this one.
There you go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to jump out of here. I want to thank my guest for coming on tonight. Well, let me rephrase it. I want to thank my guest, Lavon Sparks, for coming on twice, and that's a first for the show. But want to thank him for coming on. We will get Kenny and Chip coming up real soon, find out some more details about what's going on. Everyone, have a super weekend, a super week. Make sure you go racing somewhere this weekend. And remember, you can't change the whole world, but you can touch just one life. It's been the Monday Night Results Show with your host, me, Mitch Walker. They call me the Doctor, and you'll find us exclusively right here on the Performance Motorsports Network. See ya!
Y'all ready for this? The Monday Night Results Show is a copyrighted production of the Performance Motorsports Network. www.performancemotorsportsnetwork.com, a member of the Scorpion Radio Group, Inc., and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. Check out our Facebook page or our section on the PMN website. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host, co-host, and guests, and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either PMN or Scorpion Radio Group, Inc., the advertisers, or the marketing partners. If you would like to hear the results from your local track, or you are a track owner or a promoter and want us to cover your venue, give us a call during normal business hours, 717-749-0444. IM us on our Facebook page or email us at performancemotorsportsnetwork@gmail.com. Be listening again next week as we are talking results on the Monday Night Results Show with the Doctor. For the Monday Night Results Show, I'm Big Mike.